I don't think they're going yet.
Well, you know, if you got lots of
Keep bowling today. So you recover from that fight?
I'm still shaking.
I had just almost not driving. You brought me in here figuring out to go wiggle the actually, and then I think I had PSP. Then I had a mini stroke. So now just let him show.
Let's go play pickleball. I go, well, I've never played, I don't know how. Remember it well. The first game I played, this is so much fun. And they got to
We got Bill Wiggins there every day.
A lot easier.
Ray Lewis is there. Ray Lewis. Ray's in there. Bill's in
This is the hangar right there. And here's a long time pilot.
doing the plane and red.
No, you go really yeah. I'll go back.
There's a really tall blonde guy behind you.
As long as you can't see the top of my head.
Yeah, but she's on there.
Pretty good.
Oh, it's been for about 2 months.
Yeah, but it goes, oh, see, that was my problem.
I'm not telling I figured out who she was.
Like 10 years ago.
Drove with you haul.
I was doing too much. Really?
Well, you don't feel like you don't have that impact. You don't feel the ball. Tendency to get that impact.
That's what's doing it. It's the impact.
Or spin it. If I get a real try to spin the ball, or you know what, I get a sore elbow, and then I stop.
Well, I played too long.
7 hours.
So much coming up.
She always had this location.
Well, he was just leaving his and then pick it up. No.
Back to my get with there.
And then there was a friend of mine when he had a share party.
What else did you ask for?
Repacking, and I guess they're going to go to the place. Really? I mean, I would assume if you jump from a helicopter, you go really high. I do too.
Used to. He's messing with it and I'm too dumb to realize it. He'll be here in a minute. Got some skydivers going to jump out. A parachute.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. Years later. So they you know, usually about 5 minutes for a meeting. So I don't know. You don't know which side you're on. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not. But the biggest thing is, you know, we don't need to get into that, but it's just, you know, it's not down so. That wasn't a big complaint to me. Because green space is nice, but where we live, you don't see the green space. You know what I mean? And then the other thing is, there could be actually less, if you think about it, logically, there'll be less green space. Because there's going to be an extra 200 houses. That has to go with the green space. And the people want to go first, they're going to have the green space, and the rest of us aren't. So that wasn't a good convincing argument. Oh, yeah. She had it, right? Hanger right up. Well, that's good. Like me, I don't live up there.
Side effects.
Did you sign it?
Still up there.
Exactly. Oh man, really good.
Do we have anyone that still needs a seat? Madam President? Well, my name is John Georginas, and Chip and I go back airline days, and I'm really happy to see all of you here because I'm sure Chip is looking down on us and smiling at this moment, smiling to see all of us gathered here to honor his memory. You know, when Bernie asked me to do Chip's, I immediately got this vision of Chip in my head. You know, he always had this wry grin he would get when he realized he had won the argument, but you were slowly coming to that conclusion. I can actually see him saying to Bernie, Bernie, is this guy the best you could come up with for my eulogy? Come on. I mean, he had this self-depreciating sense of humor. And, you know, how often did you hear him say, I was better, but I got over it? I'm glad I got a few chuckles out of that, because that's exactly why I'm here. This is not a funeral, it's a celebration of a life lived, and a life lived really, really well. Presently, I'm going to cover some of the facts of Chip's long and illustrious path, but I think it's most relevant probably to recognize not so much what he accomplished, but how he conducted himself along the way as he sought out his life's goals. The fact that you've taken time out of your otherwise busy day and life to come here and honor him tells you all you need to know about the man. It's because he was a rock that you could count on, a man of integrity to the end. And when he said he would do it, you could count on it getting done and done right. You think about it, it's not so much what a man has done in his life that really defines him, but how he did it. And Chip did it the right way every time. As a family man, as a husband, a father, a club president, or a pilot, you name it. He was truly a professional, and he set the bar for us really high when you think about it. Chip's story begins in North Carolina on August 24th, 1947. The war was over and his dad was in construction, so they moved around a lot. That's where Floyd, as he was known then, met his brother from another mother, Buzz Regan, while they attended Westminster High School. Now, that began a 65-year friendship. Unfortunately, Buzz is unable to be here for this gathering for medical reasons, but he's asked me to convey to the family his sincerest condolences and pass along some of his remembrances of his old friend. You could say Chip and Buzz were brothers from another mother, I suppose. From flying model airplanes to fixing up hot cars, a friendship bloomed. The first inkling of Chip's love of Corvettes came when he and Buzz married a '59 Chevy Biscayne with a 283 cubic inch engine and put a pair of slicks on the back of it, and became one of the fastest Impalas in Southern California for its day. Many award-winning Corvettes were to follow later in life. I'm sure you know about the 65 red on red Roadster and the 64 Silver Stingray. And Chip's long association with the Granbury Corvette Club, including being its president, attests to his love of speed and automobiles. One of Buzz's favorite stories that he asked me to convey to you was a night that he and Chip took a 65 Impala with slicks on it. And this is in Los Angeles, so imagine back in the late 60s or early 60s in Los Angeles when they were just building all those massive freeways. So the Garden Grove Freeway, which now is a very famous freeway, was just being built. And so they decided that would be a perfect place to test out how fast this car could go. So off and away they went. And it seems they misjudged what the do not enter sign actually meant. Certainly it couldn't apply to them, could it? Well, the highway wasn't finished, and the pavement turned to gravel at a certain point, and I hear there was a utility involved somewhere in the story, but hey, kids will be kids, right? And at the end of the day, his encounter with his dad accomplished a lot more than the law ever could. So after Chip graduated from Mull, the Vietnam War was in full regalia. Chip was not one to shirk his duty for his country, so he volunteered in the Army as a grunt, as he would put it. Well, that didn't last for long because quickly Chip did the math and decided he'd rather be the one sending the bullets, and he passed the test to become a helicopter pilot. And not just any helicopter pilot. Would you believe, and this amazes me, he amassed over 22 air medals during his tour of duty. Now, I'm a veteran, and I flew in Vietnam, and I will simply tell you that they don't handle air medals out in cereal boxes, all right? You literally need to have risked your life to save someone else's to get one, and he got 22 of them. So you got to tip your hat at that, right? Got back from Vietnam, he was assigned to Fort Hood, and that's where fate intervenes and bless our boy once again. Interstage left, the love of his life, Bertie. He was working in the local bank in Saline, Texas, and this is roughly Memorial Day 1970 we're talking about. And it was, well, was it love at first sight? I can't really tell you, but it lasted just shy of 55 years, so I think you can draw your own conclusions. In many ways, I think of relationships as yin and yang. And I suspect that this wild young man who raced cars and flew helicopters in Vietnam had met his match in this young woman who was in every way his equal and just without the fluster. They were married just 7 months later in December 1970, and it was like Bertie had boarded a roaring freight train. Chip wanted to continue his education, so the travels took him to California, where he went to junior college to get his aviation degree. But again, life intervened, and he takes Bertie to Alaska, where he sees new adventures awaiting, and he's able to get a job flying helicopters up there. Now, you may think that Alaska is out there right now, but imagine what it was like in the 70s. Ever the optimist, Chip sold his beautiful 57 T-Bird to finance his education, get a fixed-wing license, and becomes, you guessed it, a bush pilot, flying light twins in the Alaska pipeline. Now, you can't imagine a more hostile environment. You crash out there, they find you 3 days later as a frozen corpse somewhere out there. But not to be denied his destiny, Chip parlayed this experience into a job with Wing Airlines flying jets. Now, I gotta tell you, I've got somewhere north of 28,000 hours flying various kinds of airplanes. So when I say what Chip did in such a short amount of time is extraordinary, I mean it speaks volumes about the man's ability to overcome whatever obstacles stood in his way. He did that all his life. Now, during this period, a very special gift is bestowed upon Chip and Bernie. The lovely Tiffany was born in 1977. And she's going to tell you all about some of the exciting trips that they shared, including space camps, scuba diving in the Caymans, and not the least, driving the vets. But it also should be mentioned that Chip's affection extended not only to his own family, but Tiffany's BFF, Joanne, who was always considered like a second daughter of the family. So let's turn to Chip's airline career that I'm personally familiar with. Chip's returned to Southern California and occurred in 1986 when he retired by TSA. For those of you who might be unfamiliar with TSA, it stood for pure, sober, and available. Now, come on, 2 out of 3 is not bad. Yeah. It didn't take long for Chip to be recognized as the leader he was. He was elected to the Executive Council in Los Angeles, and in that capacity he fought for better working conditions and pay for all of us pilots, and he continued his involvement in the Airline Pilots Association for over 30 years. But those are paper accomplishments. I got to know him as a fellow pilot and as a roommate for 7 years while we were based in Philadelphia, and I'd like to share with you some of my thoughts about him as a man. In aviation, there's an old saying, hours of boredom followed by moments of stark terror. Chip was what we called a steady hand at the wheel. You couldn't ruffle him. He was a guy that you knew was going to handle the situation. He'd worry about what people thought about it later. He was an accomplished pilot, but he didn't need anybody to prove it to, because his own high expectations of himself were enough to keep him on the straight and narrow. He upgraded to captain at U.S. Air in 1996, flying the 737, and 5 years later upgraded to the Airbus A321. Eventually, He checked out as an international captain on the Boeing 757-67, flying the North Atlantic to Europe until he retired in 2007. I gained immense respect for Chip as I listened with the pilot to the stories he was telling about his life. As a pilot, you read between the lines, between what you're hearing to discover what's really happening. And all I can tell you is that Chip Mull is a man of respect. A man who carried the yoke of responsibility as if it was weightless. A family man who never deviated from his responsibilities, and a loving father who was always there when the occasion arose. A friend that you could call at 2 a.m. in the morning and say, "So what's up?" Let me close with these thoughts. To Tiffany, I simply say, you want to know how to conduct your life going forward? You saw it. Go do it. To Bernie, I say, look with gratitude all the years we will be with you the rest of your life, in every step that you take, every event that you see, you will be seeing for both of you, until you join again in the afterlife. And to all of you present, hasn't it been a gift to know him? What lessons did we learn by watching him, engaging with him, just knowing him? The true value of a man's life lies in how we conduct ourselves, and we saw how he conducted himself. I consider myself really blessed to have had Chip as a friend of my life. Thank you very much.
I'm not gonna use the microphone, and I don't speak loudly, I'm sorry. I'm Tiffany, for those of you that don't know me, I'm his daughter. And, I just wanna invite everybody to come up, if you wanna speak about him, we would love it. So feel free to come up and speak. I have a PowerPoint that I'm gonna play with pictures, but I would kinda like for you guys to talk first. So if you want to, please come up and talk. There's a microphone if you would like it, and then we have sandwiches and cheesecake, refreshments to enjoy. Okay?
We turn the mic on, and I'll be agreeing with you.
Okay, I know some of you Corvette boys have got to have some stories, so come on. Who's gonna be first? Come on. You know you got stories out there. And you might as well share them now. Here we go. Give them a hand, come on.
Well, my name is Sid Tucker. I guess most of you know me, unfortunately. We first met Chip and Bernie with EA Christmas party. And you had just been here for a while. And I can say they were one of the best couples we ever met. We've been here 25 years. You've been here, Bernie, 23 or so. And I was trying to rebuild an airplane and didn't know diddly squat about paint or fabric or stitch or whatever it stood for. But Chip helped me, Bernie helped me. They were great people. A little background, Karen and I were on a vacation in Brevard, North Carolina, where Chip was born. And that is the place where you have white squirrels. And come on, Chip, give me a break. So we walked down the street to the campus, and dang if there weren't white squirrels all over the street in Brevard, North Carolina. I spent some time in Vietnam, Southeast Asia, whatever you want to call it, and I knew a little bit about what Chip did. But I talked to him later after he came back, man, what he did was something else. And like the man said, you don't give away air medals. I think Chip should have got the DLC or more, but that's the way it goes. Don't miss a friend. Really bad. God bless you, buddy.
Who would like to be next? Silence is deafening. Tiffany, why don't you go ahead and start your movie? Maybe that'll loosen their jaws a little bit. none of you cowards are gonna come up here and speak. I'm gonna invite you to lunch. Oh, wait, we have someone. Okay. Give her a good hand.
Can y'all hear me okay?
I'm not very good with the microphone, but I am a member of the Turner family, and usually they're real chatty, but they're being real shy today. So I just wanted to share a couple things about Chip. We knew that Chip must have loved Bernie a whole lot because my cousins, Patsy and Tammy, Bernie was staying with them while she was working at the bank. And every time that they would go on a date and come home, Patsy and Tammy would be peeking out of windows to see him and see what was going on. And he put up with that, with peeking. And as my cousin Tammy said, don't tell them that we called him Chipmunk. I did, because I was thinking. So, that was our first introduction. I mean, we grew up, Bernie grew up in Ferry, we've been in Killeen. We didn't know any, people that had done really cool things like fly helicopters and do those things. And when they got married, they had swords, and we couldn't believe it. And I also wanted to share a fun fact. I don't think it's classified information, but one time in Ferry, Texas, which is a little spot in the road, they used to do military exercises kind of out in that area, not far from Fort Hood. And there was a helicopter that had a little mechanical issue that had to set down in a cow pasture in the middle of nowhere. And, lucky for us, we got to see some really cool soldiers. And the one flying it we knew real well. So anyway, we all loved Chip, and we love Bernie and Tiffany, and we're just so happy and proud that he was part of our big crazy Turner family, because we are loud and rowdy, and we like to hug you, whether you want to be hugged or not, and we're happy. So we're just so proud that he was part of our family for all these years, and we loved him, and we loved Bernie, and we loved Tiffany, and we'll all miss him.
Any other takers? Tiffany, are you ready over here?
We're almost
Almost ready, okay.
That was my cousin Rhonda, and she's right. They're normally really talkative, and I am the quiet one in the family. I don't know what to say. All of you are from different aspects of my dad's life, so everyone has different stories that I know you'd love to tell.
luncheon is served.
Oh, no, it's okay. Tiffany was sitting up there. It might be the flowers.